It was a Sunday, early in July 2011.
It was an absolutely normal morning, like any other Sunday morning.
I just remembered it being a beautiful sunny day.
The sun was splitting through the trees. You knew it was going to be a blazing hot day.
I remember the house being alone because my wife and kids had gone to see friends out of the area. It was nice and quiet.
My second eldest, Stephen, was in a football tournament. Always a bit of a hectic morning when there's football. You've got to make sure the boots are there, kit's out, socks, they've got a pair of socks and they're not odd.
I've had some breakfast, bacon sandwich with a coffee just to see me throughout the afternoon.
We made a picnic to have food at the tournament. We got drinks together, bottles of water.
I got ready for work, got in my car and I drove to go to work for my 2 o'clock start.
Just before we left, I remember going into Dylan's bedroom that morning, and his bedroom was an actual tip, and he had plates of food and God knows what else, and I told him that he needed to tidy his room before I get back from football. He had a conversation with his dad. He said he was going swimming and could he do his room a little bit later, and he grabbed a towel and off he went. Whilst we was at my son Stephen's football tournament, everybody was sunbathing, everybody was enjoying the heat.
I was just hoping for a quiet day, nice and steady Sunday. I was in the office doing my administration when I received a call through my personal radio.
We was a couple of matches in, and that's when I received the phone call that changed my life forever. I was 17 years old when I had Dylan. It was quite a long labour, but when he did come into the world, I remember looking at him and just thinking how special he was, how amazing this little person was that I'd created. And I just remember promising him that I'd love him unconditionally for the rest of my life, and I would protect him as best as I could. He was very, very, very much a people person. He loved people, so when he went to nursery, he would want to be friends with you, and you, and you, and you, and everybody else. Dylan could be anybody. He was going to be the Red Power Ranger. That was it. That was his dream. He was going to be the Red Power Ranger. And I really think he believed he was going to be the Red Power Ranger. He competed at Sports Day and won everything that he attended. Everything that he did, he won it. Then he went to high school, and again he started on the same foot. He was beating everybody and he was top of his game, so he became Athlete of the Year, and he was very, very, very physically fit. First time he ever went swimming, he was 8 months old. His ability just grew and grew and grew, and at primary school, Dylan could already do the lengths, Dylan could swim quite well. He just loved water, he was very much a water baby. I never in a million years would have thought that if Dylan said I'm going swimming, that those would be the last words he ever said to me.
The call came out over personal radio to all available patrols. Could they attend the Hilltop Quarry, where there was a child in trouble in the water. Immediately I've shouted up on my radio that I will attend.
I told my mum that we needed to get to the quarry and we needed to get there pretty quick. There's been an accident, and at this point I'm thinking that Dylan's fallen from the quarry edge. I'm thinking that I'm going to a broken arm, but the water never entered my head. The water never entered my head. I rang my dad and I said, you need to come and pick up the kids, because I think I'm going to have to go to hospital. I remember being blocked in and there was a police officer behind us, and he was trying to pull my mum for driving erratically. I got out of my mum's car and jumped into his car. I said to him, the little boy that you can hear about on your radio, I said, that's my son. I said, please, can you get me there as quickly as possible?
I remember the first time I saw Dylan, his eyes were closed. His skin was very, very pale, and his lips were just blue, and there was just no reaction from him whatsoever. I knew that we were going to be in trouble trying to save him.
I remember we was driving at 100 mile an hour. I looked at the guy's speedometer who was doing 100 in a 40 zone. Alarm bells were obviously ringing by this point. I remember praying, and I'm not religious at all, but I prayed so hard that my little boy would be alright. I just kept rocking backwards and forwards saying, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan, please be alright, Dylan.
We were performing CPR for about 15 minutes. It seemed like an hour. One thing I remember from my sergeant doing the chest compressions is the actual gurgling sound of the water within Dylan. I did my best, but I'd failed.
As I arrived, my husband was stood there. I jumped out of the car. And he screamed that Dylan was dead.
One overriding memory of that moment of going up to the top is hearing the scream of Becky, Dylan's mum. And that noise will live with me.
Worst day of my life. Immediately after losing Dylan, like that night, I knew that if this could happen to Dylan, then this could happen to anybody. And I knew that I needed to understand what had happened to Dylan. I couldn't understand how a young, fit, able-bodied swimmer could lose their life in open water swimming.
When you go into water and it's cold, you're automatically shocked and your esophagus closes. You're not getting blood to your arms and legs, therefore you're not getting oxygen to your muscles. In 10 seconds, that's all it takes from going into the water to being rendered paralysed.
You know about crossing the road safely, you know about stranger danger, green cross code and all the rest of it. This is as important. I wish I knew then what I know now, because if I knew then what I know now, I won't be sitting here reliving my nightmare.
The work Becky's done, considering what has happened to her, is remarkable. It takes someone with unbelievable inner strength to do that. Most days she's talking about her son. Remarkable.
I hope Dylan watches from above. If I didn't think that we would be reunited one day, I'm not sure I could go on, but I have to think that one day, when my time comes, he'll be waiting for me.